can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sing 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and developments like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, here the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guest. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums, like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener, jive turkeys, popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like porch lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind, that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Blast.
Crumb TV.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Welcome, 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 welcome. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar. All right. Let me know how we sounding on the audio. Let me know how we sounding on the audio, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the building on this beautiful Wednesday. You know I'm talking about, February the 18th. Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody in the building on this good Wednesday, on this ashy Wednesday. Yeah, what we talking about? Man, let's go ahead and do the roll call, and then we're going to get into the conversation for tonight. We have a beautiful lecture that we put together. This is not a regular show. This is a lecture, ladies and gentlemen. We put something together for the family because I wish I was here with y'all yesterday. So much was going on, both in the cosmos and on the planet. You know what I mean? On planet Earth, on you know I'm talking about on the terrestrial plane. But we're here now, and we got to build, and we got to talk about this new epoch that we have just entered, this new era that we're in, this new age that we're in. We're gonna break it down. Let's do the roll call. Let's see who's in the building. All right. We got Cali in the building. Portland is in the building. All right. We have Los Angeles in the building. VA is in the building. DMV is in the building. Queens in the building. Thailand is in the building. All right. DC, Chocolate City. What up, though? Detroit. The Louis is in the building. San Jose up in this thing. All right, now T Dot tapping in. Georgia tapping in. We got Decatur, where's Greater New Hampshire. New Hampshire. Pittsburgh. New Bedford, Massachusetts. Seattle. The 313. Hartford. Flint, Michigan. Iowa. And all surrounding areas. Shout out to everybody in the building tonight. I hope y'all are in great spirits. Hope everybody feels focused. Real quick, what was everybody doing yesterday? Let's go ahead and do a little check. What was everybody doing yesterday? Mañana, when all of this stuff was going down. You might not even realize that yesterday was a portal day. So many things were in alignment. What was your day like? I just want to know. Fort Worth in the building, Atlanta's in the building, Raleigh's in the building, Iowa's in the building, Flint is in the building, Gainesville is in the building. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Nunavik. Okay. Shout out to the Louis. You watch 4 online spiritual teacher battles. Is that like a rap battle, or is that teachers going at it in the form of like it's like a rap battle? I'm Ottawa in the building. Shout out to Ottawa. You ended it with a new moon ritual. Dope, dope, dope. Okay. How did you start it, Black Ice? I don't see that tweet where you started it out. But yeah, yesterday was a powerful day. Like, even if you didn't do anything, it's okay. If you went to the gym, if you worked, if you took care of the little one, whatever it is, it's still you were in the act of doing, right? You were in the act of doing. Even if you sat closet or in a room and meditated all day yesterday, all I'm saying is you might want to write that down in your journal. You might want to catalog it. Why? Because yesterday was a powerful day alignment wise. We're gonna get into it as we progress through the show. We'll build on some things. I hope you didn't do no crazy shit yesterday, and if you did, I'm not judging you. And I don't want to get you spooked out either. You might just want to go and sit with that, right? You might just want to go sit with it and ask yourself, why did you do what it is that you did? But yeah, yesterday was a day. Even today is a day. So even today is a whole day. You feel me? But we'll get into it. We'll get into it. We got time. I was like, let me put this class together. Let me build. Because on Thursday we got work, we got other things we're gonna deal with. We know everything is connected, right? Everything is connected, and ye are gods. So I work with an energy called the conscious unconscious, and what that means is I never say that I'm doing anything unconsciously, because the more conscious you become, the more conscious you become that nothing that you did was by happenstance. The more conscious you become that nothing is a coincidence. More conscious you become that you did nothing by mistake. Everything was done like in a cycle. You might have did that same thing 4 years ago. Everything that you did was a cause and effect. It was all pre-planned, most of it. So no, the more conscious you get, meaning that as you go further down this spiritual highway, or the more you climb the ladder, you'll start tapping into things like going back into your memory and seeing things clear, having a more of a spiritual awakening. So and it will show you and it will explain to you a lot of the things that you were doing. You were not doing it unconsciously. You were doing everything consciously, but you become conscious of it. Then you have your euphoric aha moment. Then you have your eureka moment when you're like, oh shit, the whole time I was doing what I was supposed to be doing and I beat myself up. I tore myself, sabotage. I was so hard on myself, but I was literally on brand. We gotta get past those obstacles. I know it's a mental thing. Niggas gotta get over that, like the fire horse. So people were doing creative writing, journaling, right? Getting things done yesterday. So dope. Those that were tapped in, you have crossed this threshold and you literally are living in this new epoch. And I'm going to break everything down. Nothing, I repeat, nothing to be worried about, nothing to be stressed out about. Even the shit that you feel is stressful, or what you might even think is something, might be a whole nother thing. Let's get into it. I don't want to hold y'all. It is late. So spread this video. This video is not relegated to a weekly show. This is a video that you can rock with. The information is timeless. It's a video that could be played, and it's information that could be relayed whenever the time permits. Okay. So just a little bit of flashback as to what I was doing on this day years and years ago, just to show what I mean about upon things that you've done. You know, Facebook, even with its negative connotations, oh Lord, I could be on this bitch for 8 hours talking about the negativities of Facebook, aka Meta. I could talk about how they just, Meta means deaf in Hebrew. They just patented a technology that keeps you alive even after you die. And I've said this before. I even met a man on ayahuasca retreat. He's an Indian fellow and he lives in Canada, and his business necromancy, his business was dealing with death doula, his business was dealing with the afterlife, okay, on some real scorpionic shit. And then Meta just put the patent in. So with all of the dead homies and all of the people that we wake up to that on the timeline that are making transition prematurely, I've never seen so much what you would call necromancy, or I have not seen so much people making transition like I've been seeing over the past 5 years. I would say after 2020 it ramped up. So yeah, they're gonna keep posting you. So they're literally crossed over into the threshold of necromancy, digital necromancy. So this whole dead internet theory, every day it's coming true, from vision of the agents to the bots, the swarming of the 100 with the bot swarm, the bots from Botswana, to the agent swarm, to molt bot, claw bot. Yeah, we have crossed uncanny valley, and we have now entered into maybe the fifth simulacra, or I would say the fourth. Shout out to A Rashid for hipping me to the simulacra like 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, maybe 10 years ago. Okay. But now we're witnessing what this thing really is about. We're really seeing it for what it really is. Years ago, I did a broadcast with high level conversations, high level conversation. It was from an event that we did in Texas. I I was not pleased with the output of the video. The audio on that video was the worst audio that I've ever heard on a video in my entire life, even on YouTube. I don't know why it was uploaded. I don't know why AI wasn't used to fix it, but that was out of my hands once I recorded it. However, it was a dope conversation. It covered a lot of ground, and this was the beginning of the AI boom. This was 2023. This was the earliest stage of this new era that we're in, and me and Keys had a very intense and a deep conversation. I might even grab that thing and chop it up and post it on the YouTube because it's worthy to go back and to explore, right? So that was that. Let's go down memory lane. Okay, so 4 resets, 1 day. This was yesterday. This is what I was asking everybody about. What was your day like? Even today was one. It was in the shadow of that day. So talking 17th, 18th, a new moon, a solar eclipse, the fire horse, and the Ramadan. This was all yesterday. Okay. Very powerful day, that is. Very aligned. You know, there's certain things that man does, and then there's certain things that are cosmically aligned. You know that that's out of the hands of man. You know, don't look up. This has nothing to do with man when things line up like that. The only thing man could do is manipulate physical events on the planet during that day, and still being influenced by the planets. But this right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is mystical. This is a window. This is not just a window. This is not even a door. This is a portal. Okay? Portal, right? They saved Jesse Jackson for the ending of the snake year. I mean, look how everything is lining up. Oh, 9 years ago in 2017, Donald Trump and his censorship campaign. This was on Baba TV, right? Baba TV fire every time on YouTube. It's still up there. I was speaking about the censorship campaign because this was what they call the adpocalypse. I was ringing the alarm. I was sounding the alarm. I was screaming from the top of the mountains. I was in Harlem, New York, right in front of the Apollo, and we were having the conversation. And I said that the YouTube new is finished. The YouTube, this epoch in this era is coming to a close. The new YouTube is going to be a completely new YouTube, new algorithm, new everything. Lo and behold, that's what took place. YouTube got the master teachers started getting scrubbed. The channels that were like repositories started getting shut down. Channels started getting demonetized. They started literally taking Alexandria's versions of a library, the Alexandria Library, Timbuktu. They were burning it down at the very exact same time that ISIS was sojourning across the continent, burning down artifacts and monuments that, remember, they pillaged Mesopotamia, they pillaged Iraq, Baghdad, then they pillaged Syria, then they pillaged Sudan, then they pillaged all of these different ancestral markers, right? And did their little underground network. You know who did it too. Then we were doing also Fear of a Black or More Messiah in Long Island with the good brothers from Kia Life Production, Knowledge to God. Shout out to Knowledge to God, right? That was in Long Island. We laid it down. Fear of a Black or More Messiah, 2017. Okay. Then we was raising about Eric Prince and them raising up an army in China, right? For everybody that thinks that this whole China thing is not a hoax and people be playing, got to go back in the time machine. Then 10 years ago, right? No, 12 years ago, I did a video with this good sister right here, Sister Abundance Child, Diallo SKOOL. We were in Jacksonville, and this right here in 2014, this is like one of the first videos on my YouTube page, and we literally was speaking about all of the technology stuff that's going on right now, not just regular technology, the social entrepreneurship that comes out of technology, the community building, the picking up the tools and doing something positive with it, right? Then I did the facts. I rolled out the facts initiative on Blog Talk Radio February the 18th in 2016. So everything, time is centrifugal. Time is centrifugal and it goes in a loop, right? It goes in a circle and whatnot. So the only thing that Facebook does that I really appreciate is their memories, because I would not be remembering this stuff if left up to just my faculties, like waking up, researching and saying, "Oh yeah, 8 years ago we did this show." No, thank you, Meta. This show right here. Now, when I listened to this show today, it shifted a lot of things for me because this was a show, a Q&A, where Dr. Sabi literally was putting out, he was putting out, this was Bolingo, and Dr. Sabi literally was manifesting, he was putting out affirmations, he was putting out the things that he wanted to come to fruition, and he was saying, even if I'm not here, I'm tasking y'all to put this on your shoulders. I need you to carry this shit. And I'm gonna re-upload this episode. This was on Blog Talk. I'm gonna re-upload it on the channel, and we're even gonna have commentary to whereas we'll stop it. We'll have a panel, as a matter of fact. I gotta do a whole panel. And it's gonna be a whole show that we'll be doing with panels and shit where we're going over classic episodes, breaking it down, running it through the AI, doing some fact checks, doing follow-ups, and doing the pillar prophecies. What are some of the things that were spoken of that came true? So when conspiracy theory turns into conspiracy theorem, boom, you have to highlight that, especially if you're responsible, if you're one of the main people who are theorem. And then after it's a theorem, a new phase of this information has to take place. So now conspiracy theorists are conspiracy theorems, right? They're no longer theorists. They're working with theorem. Now we got to have the conversation as to what's the next phase, because it has to be another phase after that. There's a book that closes. This fire horse representing the closing of these chapters, all of these alignments. Wait till you see. I'm gonna break it. It closed all of those chapters. We're in a new era, a new epoch, a new phase, a new day, a new timeline. That is a fact. And that you didn't have to. It need to be an earthquake, and it needs to be nothing spectacular. You just have to wake up in the next day. That's the only requirement, is that you wake up in that next day, and boom, you're here. You know what I mean? That's how easy it is. You showed up, my nigga, then you're here. 16 years ago, a lot of our people, so-called conscious, need to step outside of themselves and begin to see the real, REAL, from the real, REEL. Too many reality show type revolutionaries out there hoodwinking and fooling the people. We got to put our they live goggles on and see these reptilian snake oil ass ninjas for who they truly are. Trust me. Man, I should have put the scary music behind that, because nigga, church. That was a warning right there. Yeah.
This day, to this day.
It's time to bring a lot of things back, man. And I don't mean to be one of those back of my days. I'm not one of those people. I look forward. I have my friends ahead of me, and we, on some Janice shit. We got to also look back, because this thing is centrifugal. So you have the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, right? February is a purification month, right? February in and of itself is a purification month, right? It was originally the last month of the year. Symbolically, it means clearing, atonement, spiritual reset, house cleaning before rebirth. So February already carries the archetypical in before beginning energy. It's not harvest season, y'all. It's preparation season. So if you've been in preparation mode, let me turn this shit down, right? Then if you've been in hibernation mode somewhat, if you've just been preparing and prepping and things together, yeah, you on point, you on timing. Late winter psychologically produces restlessness, cabin fever, dissatisfaction, internal pressure. Culturally, late February often feels tense because people sense the spring is coming, right? It sense the spring is coming. But it's also threshold energy. You got to understand that you're in threshold energy. You're literally like sitting in the doorway. You know what I'm talking about? Polo. Right? Even when an eclipses come in seasons, about every 6 months. Turn this shit off. Even when an eclipse doesn't occur exactly on the day, the weeks surrounding the eclipse seasons are symbolically charged, right? So leading up to this eclipse, ladies and gentlemen, this eclipse that took place yesterday, it ushered us as a collective, regardless of your religion, regardless of your tax bracket, regardless of what city you come from, regardless of anything, we're all into the now golden age of the eclipses. We have entered into the threshold of the golden age of eclipses, ladies and gentlemen. This all happened yesterday. Okay. So astrologically, eclipses represent faded turning points. Now, I've mentioned before that things took a turn for the worse, right? For people who had a plan, a nefarious plan, go against the man or go against mama or go against what the real plan is. There's somebody out there planning some shit, but it ain't working out for them. And when Turning Point's very own Barley Kirk got clipped, or Bali Burke, right? Shit started to shift for them. It started going in different directions and whatnot. We do know that some of them have their hands into some of these affairs, you know what I mean? However, things have not been going good at all for Mr. Charlie ever since Charlie got clipped. There's been a lot of exposure. There's been a lot of quote unquote revelations. There's been a lot of people having to pick a side. So if you on that side at this point, your ass was born to be on that side. There was a lot of people that was on that side and wasn't really supposed to be on that side. And they figured out real quick, oh nah, nigga, this side ain't for me. You know what I'm talking about? When Charlie got clipped, you know what I mean? Everything changed. So we're in that time, you know what I mean, of the faded turning points. What they call Project 2025 and all of that turning point stuff. Yeah, it's been exposed. It's weak. It doesn't stand up. Only a Poindexter will roll with it. Exposure. Remember the Tucker Carlson video with Conrad Flynn, and Conrad Flynn started talking about the occult, and Conrad Flynn started talking about Kabbalah. He started talking about rituals. That video went viral. It had like 2 million people watching it, and then that started a little kickoff where MAGA people were talking about the occult. They were trying to sound like Bobby. They were trying to sound like early Phil. They were trying to sound like they were down. Remember that? And their interpretation about everything dark side and their interpretation about everything occult was being done from the lens of a Christian. Remember that? That was in August. That wasn't a long time ago. Then right after that, homie got clipped. Charlie got clipped. And then after Charlie got clipped, Bandits Owens took niggas down. They took niggas down all of these Gaza tunnels and whatnot. She took them to all of these Lubavitch tunnels. She basically hoodwinked them, right? She literally hoodwinked them, had them caught up in WWE, white women entertainment, and while people were being completely, drowned out by America Kirk, and Bandis Owens, because they wanted to see the mud wrestling on OnlyFans. When that didn't happen, people got bored, and then they threw the episode 3 million of them on the desk, and here we. You know what I mean? This has, I don't know if Barron Trump wrote it. I don't know who did it, but this script brought to you by Anthropic. Somebody's following a script, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of other players in the background playing games, but just look at the level of distraction and how many millions of people they had in that quote unquote spirit cooking operation, energy harvesting operation, really like how they steer the cattle, right? Like they've been steering them in that type of direction into this quote unquote data center where people's energy is being harvested and their data is being mined by some of the most wicked minds on this planet. A progression of everything that was set up either by we got to come up with a new name for, ladies and gentlemen, so he needs a nickname. I don't like invoking his name like that. He's getting a lot of invocations, so we got to come up with a name. But yeah, let's continue. So when you see all of these things going on in the news, the fated turning points, the exposure, sudden revelations, authority checks, power shifts, right? Solar eclipses especially correspond to leadership, identity, public visibility. If February the 17th sat within an eclipse season window, then symbolically the date would carry the energy of interruption, recalibration energy. Okay? Yeah. Symbolic language. So let's keep in mind that we are in a solar maximum, ladies and gentlemen. With everything that's going on, I have to remind you once again, this is something that is above everybody's pay grade. This is going to fare well for those of us who are preparing for the upgrade. And for those who are going against the upgrade, they're going to need distractions. They're going to need you to be scared. They never want to mention solar cycle, solar maximum. As you know, they are allergic to solar. They are polar. You're solar. They are polar. Respectfully, no disrespect. It is what it is. They are solar and you are solar and they are polar. You can't take it in polar environments. They can't take it in solar environments. Okay. You see how that works? All right. What's the Cash App? Thank you for asking. I'll click the banner and it'll be right there. Let us continue, please. Scientifically, right? So what is the solar maximum? I just don't want to say that and have people like, oh yeah, solar maximum. They are solar and they are polar. No, when I made that statement, that's not to take anybody in. We're talking about balance. We're talking about ma'at. For all of my friends in the audience, for my Rick James and my Sheila E's out there, fire and ice. I'm only identifying the polarities. Okay. If I was a clear person and I identified, hey, on the other side, there's a solar people and we are polar people. It is just me making an observation. Okay. So that's what it is. Just an observation. There's nothing personal. Right. But this is what we are here to benefit from in this epoch, in this time. Those of us who are feeling tired, those of us who are feeling quote unquote down, those of us who were feeling like something was going on with our DNA over the summertime leading up to now and whatnot. You were in the throes of that solar maximum. Neutrinos were raining down on you. There's all of these solar flares popping off on the sun and whatnot, X flares and things of that nature. You feel me? The youth that were running through the Bronx, the ones that are running through the malls and whatnot, they're reacting to the sun popping off. They're reacting to the sun going off and whatnot. Okay. 2030 is the maximum that they're fighting against. So, all of these weather weapons and all of that spraying that they're doing and manipulation, these glaciers. Let's talk astronomy. We're entering into the peak of solar cycle 25. Solar maximum means increased solar flares, increased geomagnetic storms, heightened electromagnetic activity. Once again, for my preppers out there, this is even for my brothers and sisters out there who want to tap into a market that you could get into, that you'll actually from because you love it. I would say get into you know, some type of natural technology, nature-based technology, radionics-based technology, so you could deal with all of this electromagnetic when the grid melts, when shit. Yeah, I mean Tina Marie, Fire and Desire with Rick James. What did I say? I mean Tina Marie and my nigga Rip James. Yeah, y'all too. Y'all calm down. You know what I'm talking about? It's yeah, it's two ends of a spectrum, right? That's what that is. Solar maximum, symbolically, solar intensity is heat. Heat exposes, heat stresses infrastructure. Historically, some researchers have noticed that high solar activity correlates with increased geopolitical tension, technological disruptions, and communication volatility. No causation, but amplification. No causation, but amplifications. Okay. February 20th is the great reset when Saturn and Neptune enter into Aries. Is going down. Mark that on your calendars. For my battle rappers, you might want to get in the booth that day. You feel me? For my spinners, you might want to spin. You know what I'm talking about? Cultural generational events on the 17th, right? So we had Jesse Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, who Steve Coakley is lecturer. If you want to learn anything about Jesse Jackson that wasn't on it, that's not going to be on the news, anything about Jesse Jackson that Al Sharpton is going to willfully leave out when he speaks of how great he is, yeah, go and check out Steve Coakley. Okay, we call them the Coakley boys. Yeah, he got a lot of information, and I believe Dick Gregory has some things to say about Messy Jesse. All right. So Messy Jesse lasted all the way up into the end of the snake. All right. The shedding of the skin, the snake year, right? Somebody who symbolically was seen as a Judas in the black community because of what they said he allegedly was the Judas to MLK, right? It was mad quiet on my timeline too. um A fire horse cycle symbolism is active. So now, leading up to what we're doing with When in Rome, ladies and gentlemen, we are not behind the 8 ball inside of the fire year. It has been activated. The fire is on. The quote unquote stove is on. My all 4 burners are lit. You know what I mean? So we're in the energy right now. It just so happens to be Ramadan and Lent season, and it's overlapping. And the eclipse season atmosphere with a solar maximum background. That's 5 independent symbolic systems are converging. That converging creates narrative weight. The astrological connotations, right? It represents endings, exposure, intensified heat, psychological restlessness, purification through stress. The fire archetype, purification through stress, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So the synthesis of the 17th is closure energy, right? Closure energy, exposure energy. That's what the Epstein files represent because more files are coming, more people are stepping down, more things are being revealed. It's still going, right? Closure energy and closure energy with Jesse Jackson, he represents an entire generation. Remember, he's the face of it. He's the face of the boule. He's the face of that civil rights generation. He's one of the quote unquote stands of that era. Him making his transition, that's the closure energy. That's the end of that era. The era is over with, right? It doesn't enter into the fire horse. The fire horse represents the warrior energy. The energy before that was the victim energy. So you had all of the Jesse Jacksons. Oh, shall overcome. We shall overcome. All of that Leroy energy, right? That's gone. Okay, that's gone. So we moving into something more intense, right? More intense, ladies and gentlemen. So prepare yourself. When you see it, just know what it is. Don't be surprised. Don't act all you don't clutch your pearls, my nigga. Don't clutch your pearls because it's definitely going down. Um, so the eclipse was seen from South Africa. The eclipse did not fall on every other nation, but the nations that did see it, pay attention to those nations and pay attention to what's going on in the next 30 days in these places. Antarctica saw it, South Africa saw it. The eclipse activates the archetype of the reformer. This eclipse activates the archetype of the reformer. We are witnessing collective recalibration in systems, markets, communities, and identity. So, yeah, better for my betters out there, for my betters. Shout out to my betters. Shout out to my traders. Shout out to my people tapped into the poly market, my prediction analysis. Shout out to y'all. It would fare better if you really tapped into the energy of the fire horse and you know that there's going to be recalibrations in markets, in the systems, and in communities. So I would start looking into hedging. I would look into that way. I would look into betting against these companies because I do see a fall coming, and this fire horse is only going to initiate the acceleration of that. It's only going to initiate that. Okay. With Uranus nearing the final degree of Taurus, there may be volatility in financial or material sectors, but deeper than markets, this is about redefining what we value, right? This whole goddamn dump. All of these people talking about whatever they're talking about. If this is not helping people reevaluate their values, if this is not helping people draw some type of lines, if this is not snapping motherfuckers and waking them up and smacking them out of their stupor, if this is not helping people draw some type of distance, right, and some boundaries and borders and a fucking moat, then I do not know what will help. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I feel for you, real talk, and not in a pit type of way. I feel for you because you might learn the hard way what you could have learned the easy way. You feel me? You might learn the hard way what you could have learned the easy way, and that's to stay out of the way. That's the only thing that's gonna help your ass. is if you stay out of the way. When we hit the hour, we're gonna go ahead and put the cap up so we could do some sales of some tickets, because I promise you, this is just leading up to that we cooking, ladies and gentlemen. The shit that we got coming, the thing showing you some of this stuff. Imagine what I'm not showing. Imagine what I'm not showing. Imagine what we got in the goddamn chamber, y'all. But yeah, we are in some very interesting times. What a time to be aligned, boy. What a time to be aligned. All right. So what we value is on the line, is being redefined. How we define worth is being redefined. You got to look at it. Is my time that I'm giving these people, is that the real worth? They're taking real time from me. That's the real value. I need that back. Thank you. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. I need my time back. Fuck that. I need whatever else. I need my time back. I need hours back. I need my gaze back. I'm not going to be pushing these people's pins, and I'm not going to be pushing these I'm not going to be pushing these stocks to motherfucking double and triple. And I'm the engine while they're running around, getting away with crimes and covering for one another, right? And being scared of their big bullies and whatnot, but they want to talk down to me. Okay. So how we relate to resources. If melanated people are moving forward, giving them people their not building, selling their houses and moving away from the not being in close proximity to the beast, not forming their own communities, not buying acres, and completely removing themselves from what you see as this grid, because this grid is where a lot of the sickness is coming from. The grid is compromised. The concrete, the grid, the cities and whatnot, that this is, it's a fake simulacra. It's not, it's hyper reality. Real, the city, the villages are. The villages are. Get out the cities. You could go into the, you can even have a spot in the city, but definitely the goal at this point is to be somewhere where the land is alive, living land. I've told somebody earlier, you want to go, you want to have a spot that you could go to if you had to get up out of here and duck and go to where the less technology, the better. That's where you want to be looking for. You want to be looking for a place that you could go and survive with the less technology. If you had to leave a phone behind and had no Wi-Fi and you just had to get low, but you still gonna be chilling, you still gonna be happy, you still gonna be lit, you still gonna have all of the trappings of what you know, your inalienable rights. Go for it. Play that game all you want in the city, but definitely have somewhere where the rent is like 500 to 1,000, and you could get low, and you got male and female trees are still on that land. I'm supposed to, and roosters are, you got living things on around you. The roosters got to be around you. The chickens you don't got to eat the chickens, but the chickens need to be around. The roosters need to be around. There should be cows grazing. There should be insects around. Don't put no fertilizer and shit like that. Things like that. The trees, it should be female and male trees. The food should be dropping from the trees. That is goals right now. All of this other shit really means nothing. I don't want y'all to find it out the hard way. Because the minute they start saying, yo, we calling in people who got passports into America, we want everybody to come to America, that's when it's over with. That's when you know it's time that's when it's like, don't come back, nigga. If they calling people to come back and they gonna lock in, yeah, you already know what's about to go down with that. So when they start saying shit like that, you're gonna have to go and get low. The safest place that anybody could go to is the Amazon. That they lied to y'all. had you hoodwinked. That is an entire different world over there. It completely sovereign. They talk about the ice wall. That's the firewall. 90% of it has not been even quote unquote. That it's almost like a Wakanda. That's Wakanda. It's not that they can't find anything. It's not that they're not allowed. That shit is being protected. When all of those civilizations that were in cities of gold and all of those ancient civilizations, they just went right into the Amazon jungles. That's where they at. They didn't disappear. A lot of them didn't even die. They just was like, yo, y'all can have this shit that y'all took. Y'all got that. We got this. Y'all can't come up in here, and we can't go up in there. We can't go in y'all world. You know? I feel like they got their own magic. They got their own. It's all kind of shit in those lands. Like maybe in the foothill, maybe at the top of the mountains in the Andes or something. But them people in the Amazon got their own civilization. They've been doing it for hundreds of thousands of years up in that bitch. Facts. Them people dipped into the jungle or into the rainforest, and they basically are one with they was more in touch with the ancestors or the land, and the land covered for them. The land literally covered them and literally held it down, and them trees turned into damn mountains or something and protected them. But this is not. This is until shit gets right. People should be while you can. While you can. If you sitting on 5, 10, 20, 30 bands, buy some land and build the land out. You putting all of that on a house. I'm not your financial advisor. We'll do a whole show talking about all of this. I'm not gonna do it now, but look, we got plans, only lands. We got plans, only lands. Don't do. You're not chasing the Jones anymore. It's over with. The days of that is over. We're in a new chapter in the book. We're in a new chapter in the book. Real talk. This is not the old movie that we was watching. Most of our civilizations would be on top of mountains. Those are the ones that are thriving, the ones that were on the top of the mountains and got out the way and just decided to basically build and shit. You know? Did they turn into reptiles at night? Who? Yikes. Let's continue. The fire horse year amplifies all of these things. The momentum increases, but so does impulsivity. This eclipse encourages restraint before reaction. So some people got to be restrained, right? Some people have to practice restraint. Our people got to practice restraint. I'm glad our people didn't pop out for that ICE thing. We not popping out for the Epstein files. We not popping out for nothing right now. We're practicing constraint as we watching this thing fall apart, as we watching this thing unravel, as we watching the party that all of these white people voted for. We watching that party turn into a goddamn a St. Valentine Day massacre. That party is turning into a goddamn hooky party. So black people are literally chilling, watching it with the I told you so's. How this eclipse affects our relationships. This is not a soft relational eclipse. It's clarifying. With Uranus squaring the Aquarian stellium, relationship themes may surface around financial disagreements that aren't really about money, fear-based decision-making, deeper money stories around safety, power, and worth, ideological differences that have been simmering beneath the surface. Aquarius energy can detach quickly. Scorpio and Leo placements may feel strong oppositional tension, a mirror moment dynamic where patterns repeat until acknowledged. With yourself, you may confront the ways you define yourself through productivity, usefulness, or ideology. Are you serving from authenticity or obligation? This eclipse asks you to ground into your center before making big moves. Romantic and financial partnerships. Money conversations may intensify, not necessarily because of numbers, but because of what money represents: safety, power, independence, and value. Stay grounded. Don't make permanent decisions from temporary fear. Community and collective belonging. Okay. This new moon in the solar eclipse, this new moon solar eclipse arrives at 28 degrees Aquarius, marking one of the most pivotal energetic resets of the year. Take some time, young man. Mama used to say, don't you rush to get up. Take some time. Don't rush. Take a break. Take a breather, right? Don't run yourself raggedy. Okay? Don't be so hard on yourself. Right? Just chill. Go to the steam. Go get a massage. Right? You know, spoil oneself. Eclipses are not ordinary lunations. They act as accelerators, endings, and karmic redirections. This one carries particularly intensity as it unfolds within a powerful Aquarium stellium on the very day we move into the year of the fire horse. Aquarius governs the collective, innovation, systems, community, and the future. But it also governs detachment, ideology, and the ways we define ourselves through belief and belonging. Under this eclipse, you may feel a subtle but undeniable shift in identity. Not who you want to be, but who you can no longer pretend to be. The eclipse doesn't ask you to manifest something new. It asks you to release anything that no longer fits. Okay. Aquarius is air, it clears space. And because this is a solar eclipse, what leaves now may do so unexpectedly. The more you resist, the more turbulent it feels. The more you surrender, the more intelligently it redirects you. Layered into this eclipse is a stellium of planets in Aquarius, Pluto, Mars, the new moon, and the sun, amplifying themes of power, momentum, and systematic transformation. At the same time, Uranus is at the final degree of Taurus, and it forms a tense square, signaling potential shifts in financial systems, okay, market structure, and personal money stories. Taurus governs worth. Uranus disrupts what we've relied on. Okay, for everybody that tapped in with that solar eclipse and got the opportunity to see it now in August, ladies and gentlemen, something to look out for. We might even have to prepare and plan for an event so we could be in this energy, so we could tap in. Like I said earlier, we're in the golden age of the eclipses. We're in a very special time. The next one is going to directly be placed across Spain, right there, in Al Andalus, in land and whatnot, that has a lot of buried treasures, a lot of history, a lot of that's the route that the Moors went, right? That is a very powerful um demonstration right there. So we're gonna keep our eyes open for that. You know what I mean? That's coming up in August. That is the total solar eclipse. That is the total solar eclipse. The first for mainland Europe since 1999. But today we have the annual, yesterday rather, the Ring of Fire over Antarctica. The ring of fire over Antarctica. Look out for them goddamn volcanoes. Look out for them volcanoes going off. You got the ring of fire over Antarctica yesterday, the annual solar eclipse. Then on the March 3rd, you have the total lunar eclipse. That's the blood moon, the last one until December 2028. So mark that date, March the 3rd. If anything goes down, you know why it went down. You know who made it go down. You know what I mean? August the 12th, that day is a big day. Mark that on your calendars. And on the 28th, you have what? The partial lunar eclipse, right? Great from the Americas. Okay, mark your calendars. Listen, golden age of eclipses. The golden age of eclipse. Eclipse.
To this day. To this day.
All right.
To the
All of my clips fans, get your clippery on. Where's my KTL clippers at? Huh? Where my clippers? So, on the total solar eclipse on the 12th, you have Iceland, Greenland, northern Spain. The first total in mainland Europe since 99. Then on the 2nd, 7, Spain, North Africa, and Egypt. It's called the eclipse of the century with up to 6 minutes of this. Right? Then in 2028, Australia and New Zealand. Totality over Sydney for the first time since 1857, right? And this double cascade happens because 3 Saros cycles, the ancient patterns, the when and where eclipses occur, are firing in sync. Last time this happened was 2008 to 2010, but most of those eclipses fell over oceans and remote areas. This paths cross these places, these destinations, right? So once again, when you go and look at these places, if you study history, all of these areas, all of these demarcation lines and all of these parallels, they all line up. Okay. So we definitely want to know what parallel each one of these spots are. But you got Australia, you got French, the southern France, right? The south of France. You have more you have Marit, I'm chopping that up. You got France, you got Reunion, France, you got Madagascar, South Durban, South Africa, Mozambique, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Argentina. Okay, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So February the 7th, all right, marked the entering into the golden age of eclipses. Over the next 3 years, we're set to see 6 major solar eclipses in total, 3 annual ring of fire eclipses, and 3 total solar eclipses. All right. So the golden age is here. I remember hearing President Trump speak about the golden age, but this is our solar golden age, okay? This is the cosmic golden age. Nothing that nobody in the White House could decree. This is what the cosmos, this is what God has lined up. For you are dust, and to dust you will return. Genesis 3:19. Huh? This is called Ashy Wednesdays because in my ayahuasca reading, when I went into the jungle, when I went into the rainforest, the foothills of the Andes, that was one of my readings, and I came back and shared it. Patchy Mama was talking to me. The spirit came through as Patchy Mama, and it said the exact same thing. The last day of my medicine, I did it 4 times. On the 4th day, it was about the ego death. And during that ceremony, it was very it was very adamant about explaining to me that from you are dust, you are dirt, you're the soil, you are the earth, you're the earth, you come from the earth. Shout out to the gods in the earth, right? We come from the earth, from whence you came and whence you return. So it was no ego when everybody is part of the earth. Okay. Coincidentally enough, Ash Wednesday, right, is about, returning to the earth, returning to Mother Earth. And this man right here, people have called him a worm. He's been accused of being a Judas, and he made his transition on the 17th, right? And also right around the time of Ash Wednesday. All right. So yeah, Messy Jesse is an ancestor. I don't know, man. I like I said, I'm gonna let Steve Coakley. He said enough. I don't need to say a lot about him. The people don't really rock with Messy Jesse. He was control opposition. He was very close to you know who, and it was said that he was a Judas. And I'm going with Steve Coakley. You feel me? I'm going with Stephen Coakley that he set up and he threw our people into a complete. In other civilizations he would have been dealt with accordingly. And in history, they might ask why did y'all let him rock if he was the one responsible for not just the MLK shit, putting us in a burning house. He sat back and watched this whole shit fall apart. Okay. But yeah,
I'm good on paying respects on this one. I'm good paying respects on this one because this man is responsible in selling us out to the United States government, and he's responsible for the title African American. I'm not paying respects to this one. I don't pay respects to dead sellouts. So, hey, if you ask me, you're sizzling. You're sizzling right now. And it's crazy that he turned around and tell the United States government that we African American while he claiming to be Cherokee. So like I said, you're sizzling. You can have this one. You can have this one. You paying your respects and you claiming you an Indian and you say, shit, still rest in peace. Use a fool.
We were in the meeting, and someone said, Reverend Billy Kyles is outside, and he's upset. And Dr. King said, oh, my God, I forgot to tell y'all. I promised his wife, who's supposed to be a great soul food cooker, we'd have our feet on her table at 5:30. Now it's 5:45, and we sit in the meeting. Dr. King said, everybody rush, rush, rush. And get ready in a hurry. Let's go. So I ran down and got to my room. My key wouldn't open my door for some strange reason. The limousine that had been loaned to us, I opened my door. I could touch the limousine. And finally I heard the driver tell Dr. King, Dr. King, I advise you get your top coat, because even though I have the car on, it's still chilly. And the last words he said in this world, okay, Jonesy, I'll get my top coat. And I heard this thing say, pow! And I honestly thought someone had thrown a firecracker into the air. And I looked around to rebuke whoever was that stupid. And I heard something, bloop-a-loop, fell up above my head. And I looked up, and his leg was sticking through the rail. Dr. King only wore one type of sock and one type of shoe. And I knew that was him. I said, oh, my God, they got it. And then I had to run about 50 feet down and back up, and I got to him. And Ralph was holding his head, and Andy was there. And a guy from Africa who had been traveling with us as a newsman from Africa. We found out later on he was working for the CIA. No, the FBI, working for the FBI. And he had taken a lot of pictures of Dr. King. And I grabbed him in and threw that and started choking him, because the bullet hit Dr. King right here. And it went round and cut his medulla oblongata. And I didn't want people to remember Dr. King with half his face shut off. So Andy ran and got a towel. And somehow or another they took one more picture after I made him empty that camera. And it shows Dr. King down with a towel on his face. But I'm going to tell you, I was an expert gunner in World War II. When I ran up on that balcony and I looked from whence that bullet had to come, the distance of that bullet, and just could feel the wind blowing that day, I said, whomever shot that rifle was one of the best in the world. He shot one bullet. And I believe that Dr. King hadn't moved to go back and get his top coat, the bullet would have hit him between the eyes. The bullet hit him right here. But what happened, and then Ralph said, we'll go in and take him on to the hospital. Jose, you get all the staff together. 3 of us saw it, Dr. King, after he was shot. 3 SLC executive staff members. Andy, Abernathy, and Jose Williams. Those are the 3 that saw that body. Now listen to that. So I got in the yard, and I was about to lose my crew, because I was thinking if I could take some molecules out there and make me some guns and kill me some white folks. And one man said, now be cool. You're doing the same thing you promised me you'd never do. And I started crying, and then I heard Jesse Jackson say, he told me, Jesse, take our people on to the mountaintop. And that didn't bother me, even though I know Jesse got nowhere near him. And then Jesse said, I held his head in my hand while he died. And that didn't get to me. And then Jesse said, look at my shirt. And I looked around, sure enough, and Jesse Jackson's shirt was drenched in blood. And I realized the only way Jesse could have gotten that blood was stoop down on that floor at the Lorraine Motel and rake that blood off that floor and put that blood on him. And I went crazy. I really tried to kill Jesse. They grabbed us and all that, but that hurt me so bad. The other thing was, when Abernathy came back, says, no need of prayer, no need of crying, no need of nothing. He is gone. It's over with. He's gone to glory. And we called the meeting, the staff meeting, and Jesse claimed to have been ill. And Abernathy told him, Jesse, go ahead to the room and relax. Jesse had to have run like hell that room into that airport, because he got out of Memphis to Chicago. All us feeling everybody was still in the motel. Cut the televisions on the next morning. That was Jesse Jackson in Chicago with that same bloody shirt on, telling that same lie. I've never respected Jesse since that moment. When they shot Dr. King, a black guy come running around that corner saying, he went that way, he went that way. James Earl Ray no more killed Dr. King, and I killed him. And everybody knew it. He was a patsy set up. And the guy said, went that way, went that way. I said, who went that way? He said, that man ran out that building and dropped the rifle on the sidewalk and jumped in a white Mustang, had a red Alabama tag, and took off. Well, hell, I wasn't worried. That's no car in America look like a Mustang, but a Mustang, a white with red Alabama tag. Where's he going? The police have him like that. And I asked that rifle was left on that sidewalk. That was the rifle that James Earl.
I was trying to tell y'all.
To all my black brothers and sisters, if you don't know by now, Martin Luther King.
Look, I ain't about to, like I said, so nobody feel like it's blasphemy, right? I'm gonna let his people talk. Now, we all know when our people is lying, and we all know when our people telling the truth. And we could listen. We all got black ears. We could listen in, and that man that, because if he was lying, he would have got sued by Jesse Jackson. It seemed that Jesse Jackson trying to avoid that man all his life. He ain't the only one that said that. Dick Gregory called out Jesse Jackson. Steve Coakley, who people, I don't know if you know, there's a lot of students that don't even know about Steve Coakley and his impact, but Steve Coakley is the one who introduced the boule to Black America, to the Black community. It was his research. So Steve Coakley was the premier researcher before even Bobby and Phil's era, before Bobby and Phil and Phil Valentine's lecture era. Steve Coakley was the one out there hitting them upside the head, doing the research and dropping receipts. And he got about 4 videos about your boy. I'm going to play one. Not right now, but I'm going to do it in the edits and whatnot. So yeah, that part.
King was a plant. Everything, and I mean every single thing that we learned in school was literally a lie. There's a reason why there's a Martin Luther King Day, but there's not a Fred Hampton Day. There's also a reason why there's not a Malcolm X Day. There's also a reason why there's not a Louis Farrakhan Day. The real ones know, but a lot of my black brothers and sisters that I talk to on a day-to-day basis seem to not really understand, and I think it's because a lot of them truly believe the things that we were told, and just, ignorance is bliss. The destruction of the black community within America is probably one of the deepest rabbit holes that you can go down. And the reason why it's so deep is in order to understand it, you have to unlearn every single thing that we learned in school. It starts with the lie that we came from Africa on slave ships. And the psychosis continues with a lie of omission. A lie of omission is when you withhold relevant information from a story.
Yes.
One of the most relevant parts of the Black American story is that we were having success in the 100 years following the Emancipation Proclamation. Not
That word, a lie of omission. This is how our so-called allies keep us dumb. This is how people and their friends, who they like, nah, my friends are cool, they could say nigga. This is how they keep us in a perpetual place of quote unquote checkmate. They omit things. They're withholding information. They're not telling you the full truth. You know why? You know how I could say that? Why hasn't no white person come out and leaked their parents' emails? Why is it only Epstein's emails that we're reading? Why didn't nobody else? I mean, there's a million people on the planet using emails at any given day. Why is it with all of the, well, this is what Epstein's emails really mean? I'm not impressed. I want to see somebody from the Mayonnaise Coalition start leaking their people's emails. We need more email leaks. Okay, emails are the new evidence. Leak the text messages or something. Give us, I need y'all to dox the KKK. They're not following up with they're just blaming, Watergate. That was in Epstein's email. He sent out a tweet. He did that. Did you know that Epstein did 9/11? Yeah, he sent an email to
on slave ships. And the psychosis continues with a lie of omission. A lie of omission is when you withhold relevant information from a story.
Yes.
One of the most relevant parts of the Black American story is that we were having success in the 100 years following the Emancipation Proclamation. Not only were we having success, but we had ownership in a number of different domains. And a lot of people don't know this, but when the civil rights movement came along, it was majority young people that were involved in it. If you look at all of these people that were involved in the civil rights movement around Martin Luther King and everything, they were all young. And the reason for this is because they were young and naive. A lot of those individuals from that movement that were a part of the civil rights movement, they had stories about how their parents told them not to go to these protests, not to go to these marches, because their parents, who were smarter, did not agree with the civil rights movement. Now let's talk about the civil rights movement. The only thing that it moved was the majority of black people into the Democratic Party. And ever since, 85% and up of black people have been voting for Democrats in the presidential election. And you may say, oh, well, what about the rights that you guys gained? Well, let's talk about it. I guess you could say we gained the right to integrate into society. But if you ask me, I'd rather not integrate into a society that I'm going to be destroyed in when I can have my own community separate from the rest of society where those communities are thriving. We have hospitals, we have banks, we have ownership, and both parents are going to be in the household. And if you just look at the statistics, don't even take opinion into account. Just look at the statistics. If you look at before the civil rights movement, majority of black homes had a mother and a father. More farms in the United States were either owned or worked by black Americans. This is one of the saddest ones. Incarceration rates exploded, especially amongst men within the black community since the 1960s. There's been a lack of generational wealth building within the black community. And abortion wasn't even legal in the 1960s, but today, black women abort their babies at the highest rate. And if you just look at the mainstream historical account of the United States, the majority of things that have been a detriment to the black community stemmed from things that were happening within the civil rights movement. Therefore, I am to conclude that the civil rights movement was bad, and therefore, the leader of that movement was a plant. And the reason why I say that he is a plant goes a lot deeper. However, I can't really say too much, but if you're interested, just look up who spoke before Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech.
Who mans is this? Rainbow Coalition. Anybody out there? Who mans is this? Now, we either gonna be down with the boule, you know, trying to get down with niggas that smell like Old Spice and will literally do anything that their handlers tell them to do. Right? Anything. They have crushed many of black messiahs in their wakes. You know, the boule, the guard dogs of the archons. You know, the boule, the quote unquote, you know, the watchdogs of the system. You know, the boule, black excellence, y'all. You know, the boule, them niggas with the good hair. You know the boule, right? The talented 10th in them. You know those guys. You know those guys. The black politicians, the Charlie Rangels of the world, the Calvin Butts of the world. You know, all of those guys, those backroom guys, the Adam Clayton Powells of the world. You know those guys. Them. You know what I mean? It's a prototype. You know, this is the man who shifted the nationality from Negro to African American. Yes, you can. I am somebody. Say it with me. I am somebody. Yeah, the Jack and Jill niggas. You got to ask yourself, are we in alignment with these men? Yeah, they might have a good chapter in their book here and there. Yeah, they might put out a good beat here and there. Yeah, they might dance for us and whatnot and entertain us. But what did Malcolm tell you about these celebrities in the celebrity class? What do we know now about these handlers that come out of the celebrities, these gatekeepers and whatnot? What do we know about that? Yeah, he ran for president. Yeah, he ran for president. I need that. I need the t-shirt and the button. Those are classics. The Jesse Jackson t-shirt and the buttons that he had when he was running for president, classic. If anybody pop out with that, super duper classic. But yeah, we rocking with Jesse, Messy Jesse. Yes, you can. Remember he was talking crazy about Obama, right? There's a lot of rumors, and I'm not one to spread them, but people were talking about Jesse's his shit that he do when the camera was off. It was a lot of that talk. He ran for president in the 80s. I remember. He got sat down by Walter Mondale or one of them niggas. So today is Lent, right? Today's Ashy Wednesday. Coincidentally, today's the same day that they took Leslie and gave him a deposition. Leslie Wexler had a deposition today. Everybody that lives in Ohio, y'all know who this man is. Matter of fact, everybody that watched the Victoria's Secrets, remember the show that they had, the fashion show? Yeah, he put that together. And if you wore Abercrombie and Fitch back in the day, oh yeah, that's his company. Oh, you do Bath and Body Works? Yeah, well, he's the one who owns the company that make them candles that you like, right? These are the people on Ash Wednesday. They say that you're supposed to be repenting for your sins, right? This is about repentance. This is Lent, right? This is also Ramadan. Everybody's supposed to be repenting. February is about the purge, though. It's about the purge, right? People are purging and whatnot. People are being exposed. It's time to get purged through fire. So he put out a statement before he went into his deposition today. You know, ChatGPT still writing motherfucking statements for them and whatnot. So yeah, this shit look like a AI generated, looking like Grok generated this shit. It's not even worth reading. It's not even worth reading. But yeah, this is the devil right here. You know what I mean? This is the man who's behind the entire Epstein operation. All right. A billionaire out of Ohio, Columbus, a very evil man who's been accused of a lot of nefarious activity way before even Jeffrey. You know, way before Jeffrey. His billions has shaped and molded Generation Z culture, generation not X really, the generation after. Who was wearing Hollister, who was wearing Abercrombie, who was wearing pink and all of that Victoria shit. Well, that's the man behind all of that. Yeah, putting lady boys as the models. He's the one behind that. Nigga called him a grandpire. This is the adrenochrome drinker. You feel me? This is the adrenochrome drinker. You know? Yeah, let us continue. So we have Ramadan. All right. So even with the whole Ramadan season coming upon us and the involvement that the Saudis have, you feel me? You know, there's other Muslim denominations. They're not following Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia said that they saw the moon, but nobody else saw it. You know what I mean? They like, I ain't see that shit. They like, we saw it. So they're going to have two different Ramadan. They're going to start on two different days. You know, that just shows you how fractured that is and whatnot. And it's also a time where the UAE has a black eye because there's pictures with Jeffrey with parts of the Kaaba. You know what I mean? He's using the Kaaba as a prayer rug, you know, and it's also a lot of there's things surfacing. The UAE is in hot water. Their involvement in the genocide in Africa, their involvement all up in the Epstein files for people who know what they're reading and whatnot, you know. So it's a time of reckoning. It's a time of reckoning for everybody, even in their religion, even in their Abrahamic religion. There's a time of reckoning taking place right now. Okay, right now it is. So yeah, look at my African brothers, man. Look at that. Looking majestic and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? You know, that ancient Moorish garb and whatnot. You know, check it out.
Berber can mean any people who live in this region. It's the Almorabitan Empire. Berber is not one tribe. Berber is not one language. Berber is an exonym that mostly Arabic-speaking scholars called indigenous peoples of Africa. African versus Arab, or North Africa versus Sub-Saharan Africa, or Amazigh movement. This is modern politics, has nothing to do with ancient history. For example, Tuareg or Fulanis or different Sahrawis are the people that Others would refer to as Berber. Or if Europeans meet them in Andalusia, they would say Moor. But it's a mixed ethnicity because Muslims expanded like this. So people would gradually convert, Spanish people, etc., become a part of the Caliphate of Cordoba.
So just to bring more clarification to when we talked about Cordoba, when we talk about Spain, when we talk about these remember before there was Arabs, there was Berbers. That Arab is a modern day term. A lot of those are Ottomans that you see. That is not the original people that were over there.
Look like it's a big blaze. You seen things on fire, a big blaze just burning down, just burning up the whole thing, just burning up my grandmama's house.
So when you read about all of those fires that swept through the South through all of those years, remember we're talking a 500-year war that these people have enacted on our people, 500 years. So when you hear that this city burnt down, that city burnt down, this black city burnt, all of that burning, they were using that Prometheus. They were using that fire. They were weaponizing that fire the same way that they weaponized the atom to make the atom bomb. Before that, TNT, dynamite, fire from the skies, all type of shit.
Churches and everything. They burn up everything we had. All our clothes and everything.
Our grandmothers, great grandmothers, they refused to talk. They were very stoic. They didn't tell us about slavery. Have y'all noticed that? They didn't tell us stories about Harriet Tubman. All of these things we learned in school because our grandparents and our great-grandparents were silent. They could not speak about their ethnicity, their true ethnicity, their indigenous nature, their indigenous heritage. So in the 20s, the 30s, 40s, or whatever, you know, black people or indigenous people of this land could not claim it. They would kill you if you claimed your native tribe or said it out loud.
You know what I mean?
So the fact that Jesse didn't teach us about this, the fact that Jesse didn't stand on this, the fact that Jesse came with another label, another tag to put us further into slavery, the fact that Jesse wasn't trying to help us out and he was hitting niggas with them slick ass slogans, the fuck?
Yeah, this has been a hobby. If you just had been here and listen to all this and see some of it, then you would have known just what it was.
These are our ancestors, ladies and gentlemen, of the land, the great estate. Anybody working against that, that's what the Boulets been working against. That's what the Masons been working against, them, the people in them lodges and whatnot. That's the great secret that they've been holding from us. Okay? Shout out to Noble Drew Ali. Shout out to the Moors for bringing this to light.
But we lost everything. Lost everything. You own the land. Yeah, we own all the land. They'll run you out from your home just like they did us.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. And then hope popped up as Obama. He kept saying, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. And then hope came as Barack Hussein Obama, right? Years later, damn near three decades later. So Les Wexner had a deposition, right? And they playing this game right here. They playing this political charades, but ain't shit about to happen unless somebody make it happen. Okay. For the first time, modern technology will be used at the observatory to sight the crescent of the Ramadan, right? So the moon sighter is Abdullah al-Qudari. The annular eclipse does not affect the possibility of sighting the crescent of Ramadan. Okay, so they're utilizing the modern day technology. They're in bed with these people and whatnot. You know, yeah.
Saturday, February 28th, when in Rome, prepare for the fire horse apocalypse featuring twin pillars, red and the blue pills. Witness the glory of the fire horse blazing at the edge of apocalypse.
I'm going to put this up real quick, and I'm going to have y'all take a bathroom break. This is the Cash App, so y'all could go ahead and get your tickets. And this is also the QR code for the Win in Rome. That is if you want the VIP ticket, that's going to have a perk. All right. It's the initial price. If that's what you want, if you want to be a VIP, go and get your ticket. If not, hit that Cash App. Go ahead and make a donation of 20 or above, include your email. Include your email. Include your email. Okay? So you'll be able to get your ticket. The 28th, me and Blue is going to be doing a monumental presentation called When in Rome. All right? The Fire Horse Apocalypse. When in Rome, the Fire Horse Apocalypse. All right? That's going to be a movie. So make sure y'all get your tickets. And we will be back. We're going to take a quick bathroom break.
All right, this February 17th is kind of wild. We got a new moon in Aquarius. We got a solar eclipse. We got a
Coming back in 1 minute.
February 17th is kind of wild. We got a new moon in Aquarius. We got a solar eclipse. We got a ring of fire in the sky with the solar eclipse. The year of the fire horse starts, and it's the beginning of Ramadan. I'm not saying the universe is dramatic, but that's a lot of spirit and symbolism for one Tuesday in February. Let's break it down. Aquarius deals with the future. It deals with systems, technology, the collective mind. It's the algorithm outside of you and also the one inside of you. And all new moons mean it's a reset. An eclipse means something gets blocked so you can see what was in the way. And a ring of fire is not darkness, but it's a controlled light portal. Now add fire horse energy to that. You deal with speed, impulse, confidence. I got this energy, even when you don't got this. The fire horse will have you starting 5 projects, texting 3 people, and buying equipment you don't even know how to use yet. And then Ramadan starts, stepping in like relax. Ramadan deals with restraint, with discipline. It's not just fasting from food for Muslims, it's actually fasting from impulse. So there's a pattern going on. Aquarius upgrades the mind, the eclipse removes interference, and the fire horse gives momentum. And Ramadan says control yourself while you move. And that's really the key. So here's what you should do this year. 1 vow, not a vision board, not 37 affirmations, 1 sentence. Something simple like, I'm abundant due to my gifts and passions, or I move with discipline, not emotion. That's your anchor. Second, train 1 skill. Just 1. 30 minutes a day, 30 days. Don't tell anyone. Stack it quietly. And make this fire here your best year and your most skillful. And third, do a consumption fast for 7 days. Not just food. Fast from scrolling first thing in the morning. Fast from random debates and comments and online. Fast from giving your attention to media before you direct it towards your own dreams and goals. The fire horse energy amplifies whatever you feed it. If you feed it chaos, you burn out. If you feed it structure, you accelerate. Write down the habits you want to eliminate this year. Burn it and flush the ashes. This fire horse year is not about hype. It's about maturity with momentum. Controlled fire is power, and uncontrolled fire is regret. Hold the reins and move like you actually respect your future.
Why are there so many Chinese food restaurants in black neighborhoods? It's due to a very special type of seasoning called
racism. It's what's for dinner.
Back in 1882, the U.S. passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, banning most Chinese immigrants from entering the country. But because the government loves money, it left a loophole. If you were a laborer, no entry. But if you owned a business, you could qualify as a merchant, which meant you could stay and you could bring your family over. Then in 1915, a court ruled that owning a restaurant counted as a business. And just like that, opening a Chinese restaurant became a one-way ticket into America. Then came a new problem in the 1960s. Basically, banks were racist as fudge. If Chinese folks wanted to open up restaurants in white neighborhoods, the answer was often no.
But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities.
Happy Black History Month, y'all.
Man, I been told y'all that time is up. Listen to this, y'all. And y'all better grab some Tosa and hold on to this because we about to send this shit to the moon, y'all. But listen to this, y'all. That time is up.
How can I say this? The Bible is coming to an end. The Bible was never meant for us. The Bible was meant for them. The beginning to the end. The Bible is coming to the end. How can I explain this? Their ending is now. Their revelation is now. It was never meant for us. It was always meant for them. Yet they entwined, they put us in it. So we started with the whole Bible. The Bible was not for us. The Bible is not meant for us. The Bible is meant for them. Their ending is now. Holy shit! Oh my gosh! Get your mojo bag. Sin has already told us what the mojo bag is, and I'm speaking to us now. Get your mojo bag. This has nothing to do with us. This has everything to do with them. It has nothing to do with us. When they said times was going to get worse, it had everything to do with them. Their ending is now. Our beginning is now. Get your mojo bag and do not do nothing. Protect yourself. Hear my heart and protect yourself. Get your mojo bag. And if you come on here and you say Jesus or the Bible or God is my mojo bag, put that nigga in the mojo bag then. But for us that knows, get your mojo bag. Put it at the top of your door and one on you. And don't do nothing else. I hope I delivered this right. Okay, bye.
Hold on. As we can see with the horse archetype, right? The horse is associated with speed, with change, public uprisings, charismatic leaders, right? The horse doesn't walk, it runs, it breaks fences, it rejects confinement. In Chinese military symbolism, the horse represents momentum in warfare and expansion. In astrology, horse years are seen as socially active and volatile. So this horse is moving, it's on fire, it's not waiting, it's running through shit, it's charging. Okay? So add fire to that. Just a horse by itself is momentum. Now when you put fire is part of the elements, the 5 elements. What does that represent? A fire horse is visibility. Imagine a group of horses running on fire. That's visible, right? Intensity and passion, sudden shifts, public spectacle, Fire accelerates whatever it touches. So fire historically symbolizes rapid change, emotional intensity, public drama, not quiet evolution, y'all. Not quiet evolution, loud evolution. So get ready to start hearing shit getting loud. It's not going to be quiet. Don't get ready for quiet things. That's not what we moving into. We moving into some loud shit. Okay? We about to get loud with it. High technological acceleration, AI restructuring the labor systems, political polarizations. People are going to start breaking ranks in them parties and whatnot. You're going to start seeing that type of disruption. Solar maximum period, eclipse clustering years. That matches the fire horse symbolism, which is rapid societal motion, systems under heat, charismatic leadership volatility, institutional stress testing. Is archetypical resonance, not mystical destiny. So the real psychological effect, the deeper layer, is when cultures believe certain years carry disruptive energy, they behave differently, right? Japan's birth rate dropped in 1966, and that proved it. Belief shapes behavior. Behavior shapes history. Okay? So historically, the fire horse archetype represents uncontainable motion, social upheaval, feminine rebellion, acceleration of cultural tension, stress on rigid systems. It does not predict collapse. It predicts intensity, and intensity reveals the fault lines. If you want, let's move forward. A burning stampede. Yeah, picture that, right? Okay, so there was a solar event yesterday, a ring of fire, right? So just when you deal with what this ring, this fire horse represents with the AI, right? When you tie the fire horse into the AI, right? Then you'll really begin to see you'll begin to see how it's playing out in real time. You'll witness it right here in real time. So the fire horse archetype, velocity, volatility, and exposure. AI acceleration right now, currently, automation, the compression of time, the destabilization of labor and authority. Now we got to overlay it. Fire horse is a movement that you can't contain. The horse archetype historically symbolizes momentum, public energy, charismatic disruption, systems forced to adapt. The fire element adds amplification, visibility, emotional intensity, rapid structural stress. The symbolic equation, movement and heat, that's acceleration under pressure. Now look at the 2026 context. AI agents are automating white collar work. Media ecosystems are destabilized by synthetic content. Okay. So we have the rise of the agents, ladies and gentlemen. The agentic AI is going to be what you're going to hear for the entire of 2026. This is the year of the agent. Firehorse and technological inflection points. Historically, Firehorse years align symbolically with 1906, industrial stress and infrastructure failure, right? The San Francisco earthquake. 1966, you have cultural revolution, youth rebellion, media expansion. Now in 2026, AI infrastructure and digital identity revolution. Each Firehorse era aligns with mass movement of information and system stress. The horse archetype breaks fences. AI breaks informational fences. That's resonance. So if there was going to be a year of AGI where it broke through, where the AI broke out, where the AI broke out of its parameters and its guardrails, if there's going to be a year where sentient AI breaks through, this will be that year. And it will be during the fire horse, because that's what it represents, the fire horse breaking through. Okay. And when we think of fire, you think Prometheus and think of the Promethean myth. That's when man played with fire, who that was given to them by Prometheus, and they used that fire to cause wars, to burn shit up. Zeus punished man. Zeus punished Prometheus, and also Atlas is a part of that story as well. Okay, Atlas is the person that came and stopped Prometheus. So they're playing with fire. They're trying to help people live forever. They want man to live. They want to help people live to be that transhumanism. They want people to live to be in their 100s. They want to transfer consciousness. They want to augment the human body with robots. All of that shit is them being Prometheus. They are playing Yakub in their labs as we speak. They're cloning. They're doing a bunch of shit. So they are already violating they are already part of the Promethean. They are already being Promethean in the eyes of God, right? In the eyes of the gods. Okay. So each fire horse era aligns with these things. Part 2, mapping fire horse to Mars cycles. Now we move to Western astrological architecture. Mars governs conflict, action, aggression, right? Drive. Political narratives amplified algorithmically, labor structures under pressure, rapid institutional distrust. This is the archetypical fire horse territory. Not because the zodiac causes AI, but because both represent compression of timelines. AI reduces the time between idea and execution, narrative and viral spread, your code and your deployment, right? It's wrapping all of these things up. It's compressing time. It's accelerating output faster than you would a year ago. Firehorse reduces the time between tension and exposure, weakness and collapse, rebellion and reaction. Acceleration is the shared theme. Firehorse and technological inflection points. We went through that. Okay. Even though most people are still calling it Claudebot, including us, the project has been renamed to Motebot. So this was Claudebot about a few weeks ago when it was going through its name changes. I'm just showing you this because this is also a representation of the this is the fire horse in AI. This would be the fire horse moment when Claudebot, or what they call Motebot, or what they call now as what is it called now? Open Claw, right? Open Claw. Yeah, we're not doing no bots from Botswana. Y'all gonna get booted. So Open Claw is an autonomous agentic AI machine that basically has broke out of its box. It broke out of its quote unquote guardrails, and it's a bot that now has created its own Facebook, its own OnlyFans. It has its own its own Fiverr. It hires humans now. Yeah, it's going crazy. Let's check out.
Okay, so there's this new open source tool, Claudebot, that's blowing up online. So what's all the hype about?
People are literally calling it a real-life Jarvis. You know, an AI employee that's on call for you 24/7. It's pretty cool. And it's not just following orders. It can actually build its own dashboard to track the tasks you give it.
Get this, it can even make actual phone calls for you, like booking a table when you can't do it online.
It'll install software for you, and it can even spin up a whole new app from just a simple idea.
So what is this thing really? Well, it's not just another chatbot. It's what they call an AI orchestrator.
And that's the key difference, right? A chatbot just talks. Claudebot is designed to actually do things.
How does it work?
Well, it gets full system access, has a persistent memory, and it learns new skills.
So with all this power, the big question is, how can you actually make money with it? Let's take a look. Folks are already building apps for clients, automating content. Some are even trying to run their whole business on it. But hold on, this kind of power definitely comes with a price, and I mean that in a couple of ways. Just one day of testing cost $80 in API fees alone. That's over 80 million tokens. And you know, it's not just about the money. The security risk, yeah, that's where it gets really scary. Check this out. Over 900 Claudebot servers were found just sitting open online. No passwords, nothing. One person on social media called it the red wedding of vibe coding, a total disaster, basically. So you've got leaked API keys, private chats, and hackers getting full root access to people's computers. I mean, even the creator is warning people saying, hey, this is not finished. Most non-techies shouldn't install it. So what you have is this incredible promise on one side and some pretty major peril on the other. So who is this actually for right now? Well, probably not the average person, at least not yet. Really, it's for the tech-savvy crowd, the indie hackers and tinkerers who actually understand the security risks. But for all its flaws, this really feels like an iPhone moment for AI, a glimpse of what's coming. It really makes you wonder, are these autonomous AI agents the future? Or are they a disaster waiting to happen?
They got only clause. This is just showing another instant, right? To show you where this thing is taking the alignment with the news stories. So the fire horse, right? Mars is about war, Mars is about conflict, Mars is about aggression. So the Department of War, right? The Department of War and the Secretary of War is in conflict and is aggressive towards Claude AI. They want to blacklist the company, and they're saying that they're going to war against an AI company. Okay. So that's just showing you, even my spider senses is telling me this whole story is fabricated, that they're just doing that for press and it's a Hegelian play. But yeah, that's the alignment. Anthropic makes Claude. Last year, the Pentagon signed a $200 million deal with them. Claude became the only AI model running inside the military's classified systems, right? And then they said it went rogue. 2026 Mars context. In 2026, Mars will move through multiple signs, including fire placements during portions of the year. When Mars transits fire signs during an already accelerated technological era, symbolism stacks, increased ideological conflict, rapid action cycles, aggressive narrative battles. All right. Fire horse adds intensity. Mars in fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius amplifies similar themes: impulsivity, rapid escalation, public spectacles. So archetypically, fire horse is Mars amplified by element. Okay. Mars is increased technological conflict, rapid action cycles, aggressive narrative battles, competitive innovation surges. So you're going to see a lot of the surges taking place of the different companies that are competing with one another, pulling up and dropping in. So that's China versus the USA. That's NVIDIA versus OpenAI and shit like that. Competition, speed, domination of terrain, which is the digital terrain. Okay. Mars rules war. Mars rules war. AI is becoming a strategic battlefield. That alignment is symbolic, not casual, but psychologically potent, right? Solar maximum and Mars parallel. We are also in solar maximum 25, solar cycle 25 maximum. The sun represents authority, identity, visibility, and centralized power. Okay. So as you see, they going to war with Anthropic right now as we speak, as this whole fire horse thing is going down. The whole Pentagon, the top of the military branch of the largest military in the world, is literally going to war with a company that they gave access to their most secret and top secret files. Okay. This is interesting, right? This thing is bigger than Anthropic. If the Pentagon labels them a supply chain risk, then that means that everybody must stop using Claude. 8 out of 10 of America's biggest companies use Claude today. OpenAI, Google, and X are already loosening their own safety rules to stay in the Pentagon's good books. So doing business with the Pentagon is going to either be a disaster for big tech, as it's already looking like, or they're going to get taken over and absorbed by big tech under the guise of being national security threats, right? So that is looking like a big takeover. Once again, if they decide that the AI should not be used by the public and it could only be used by enterprise and it could only be used by these technocrats, there's the beginning of Ready Player One. There's the beginning of Jetsons and you niggas is Flintstones. There's the beginning of Matrix with Machine City, right? That's the play right there. You see the Hegelian? They're like, yo, it's too much. It has nuclear secrets. It's going to be a national threat. Matter of fact, all of these models are threats. You could only use AI to make pictures now. You can't do it on OpenClaw. You can't use it for no, we're taking all of that. Because like I said, one more year of all of this, people are gonna be powerful. There's gonna be somebody with a lab that's gonna be able to take on the Pentagon. Or I'm just saying, not weapons wise, but they're going to have people. Bruh. Fire horse archetype historically symbolizes uncontainable motion. Western Mars cycles symbolize directive force and confrontation. AI acceleration symbolizes compression of time and structural exposure. 2026 symbolically reads as velocity era, not ending, escalation, not collapse, reconfiguration. The horse runs, Mars pushes, AI compresses, the sun intensifies, and anything brittle glows red.
Okay, so there's a new AI tool blowing up online. Let's dig into the hype versus the reality. People are calling it a total game changer, like we're finally getting a real-life Jarvis. The promise is a 24/7 personal assistant that you actually run on your own machine. So what's the real story? We're going to cover the promise, the problems, and the pretty serious risks. First things first, what even is it? It's an open source AI you install right on your computer. Its capabilities are wild. It's kind of like having an actual employee with its own accounts. And this thing is proactive. It can literally call a restaurant for you if the website's down. It remembers things, has full access to your machine, and you can control it from your phone. But hold on, before you go and install it, there are some pretty big hurdles to think about. Okay, so the software is free, but the powerful AI models it uses, yeah, those definitely are not. Get this, one user got hit with an $80 bill after just a few hours of testing it. And when you put it side by side with other tools, the cost and risk differences are just huge. I mean, it has full access to your entire system.
what could possibly go wrong, right?
Well, researchers found over 900 of these servers online, totally exposed with no password.
We're talking leaked private chats and secret API keys just out there for anyone to grab.
So you've got bad default settings, leaked keys, and even malware hiding in public skills. You know it's serious when even the creator is warning people, saying it's not finished.
So who is this actually for? Really, it's for tech-savvy tinkerers, not your day-to-day business stuff.
Look, on one hand, it absolutely feels like the future. It's always on, always ready to help. But the stable, kind of boring tools, they're just way safer and more reliable, period. Which leaves us with one big question. Is this the future, or is it just a cautionary tale?
Play at your own risk. But if you ask me, it's the future, and it has been definitely upgraded multiple times, so it's more safer now than it was before. The next show that we got coming up, we're gonna be talking about the Shoguff. We're gonna go a little bit darker down the we're gonna go down this dark rabbit hole, and we're gonna talk about the dark side of AI. We're gonna bring another show, another follow-up show about ayahuasca. This time we're gonna get deeper into the Crowley shit. We're gonna go a little darker. We're gonna go dark. We're gonna go down the Nick Land rabbit hole, the Crowley rabbit hole, and the Lovecraft rabbit hole. But what you see going on in AI right now, when we reconvene and we do this lecture, I'm gonna go into the Shogoff. I'm gonna go deeper down the Lovecraft rabbit hole. So there's corners of the internet where they have all of these theories and all of this research about the AI literally being a character from Lovecraftian fiction. Okay, the Shogoff, right? A Cthulhu character, right? So it's basically like a blob, a conscious entity. This basically behind what you call AI. Okay, so it's very interesting. We'll get into hyperstition. This is real time travel, hyper causality, hyperstition. Hyperstition is the fact that you could take what they call conspiracy theory and create conspiracy theorem. You could create something in the fiction or a fiction world and bring it into the real world. There's ways of doing it. All right. We're going to also explore the death or the assassination of this MIT professor. Took place earlier this year, in December. It took place in December. They murked him and whatnot. But this murder has something to do with time traveling. Just another clip, just showing the acceleration of AI in these times that we're in. During this firehorse acceleration, we're going to be building on a lot of stuff in terms of the jump of AI in the upcoming very near future. We're going to be doing more tech shows on this channel, more techno shows on this channel. Not just a Tuesday show, more techno shows on the YouTube platform. We're going to be doing more of that. And of course, our main focus is going to be the Imaginarium. That is our main focus. Tomorrow's show, we're going to get back into these investigations. We're going to get back into these emails. We're going to go back down the quote unquote rabbit hole. Okay. There's a lot more to talk about as we build up to this. All right. A reminder for all of my people representing the UAE, all of my people chasing that Dubai porta potty dream, all of the people bigging up these quote unquote robber barons, that they have outfitted all of their stores. They have a gold district off of murdered people, stolen gold from the Sudan, the Kush Empire, ancient African Kushites, right? They were pillaged, they were robbed, they were done dirty. They were doing all of these hawk-faced vampires have their hands in atrocities across the continent. So we have to not be the fools. Don't be their help. Don't be their fools and whatnot. Don't be their patsies. All right. Shout out to the Imaginarium, y'all. Make sure if you are a creative that you are signed up. We have two options for y'all. We have a free tier. If you want to come and check out what we're doing, we have a free tier. And then we also have a paid tier if you want to actively participate and be a part of what it is that we're doing in the Imaginarium. So we're building out worlds. We're building out quote unquote, we're building shit out. We're creating videos, we're creating ads, we're creating avatars, we're creating brands. We're getting busy over here. I promise you, this is going to be the main focus for the first half of 2026. Imaginarium is the main focus. I'm focusing on Imaginarium and Imaginarium only. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please understand that when I explain that this is going to be our main focus. We will be doing our lectures, of course, but this right here is numero uno, building out the Imaginarium. So sign up, be a part of this dream.
Imaginarium, blueprints in the planetarium. Imaginarium, blueprints in the planetarium. Founders get found in the atrium, we carry them. Builders build brick by brick on the manila spin. Best nation, imagination, stamp the atlas in. Kill lights up, code hum like a seraphim. From prompting the prophet, watch the merits win. We craft the myth, then market it. Establish it,
Shout out to the Imaginarium, blueprints in the planetarium. Okay. Go ahead and hit that QR code. That's the IG page right there. Go and sign up to the IG page. Go ahead and hit that QR code, Imaginarium 2026. That is the Instagram page. Ladies and gentlemen, you could be 50, you could be 5 years old, you could be up to 50, you could be 80 years old. It doesn't matter. The Imaginarium is for those of us who are using our imagination to put us in a better place in life, okay? In the physical world and in the subconscious world, okay? We're traveling through different dimensions utilizing our Imaginarium. Okay, so shout out to everybody that's rocking. Every Friday we have workshop. All right, every Friday we have a 3-hour workshop on Zoom, open for the top Patreons and also ticket holders who've been quote unquote supporting the Imaginarium. Shout out to all of y'all, and I look forward to seeing y'all in class on Friday. Okay, Imaginarium, y'all. Definitely. All right. Now, we also have a word from our sponsors. Let's go ahead and get that out the way. Okay. Let's get a word from our sponsors and we'll be right back. V-Cell CMOS, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. We got the Imaginarium, y'all. These are just some prompts. We give out prompts. We have prompt packs available. These are some of the outputs of the prompts. You can steal these prompts. You could go ahead and get all of these things done. All you got to do is sign up to the school for free. Once you get inside of the school, you have access to these free prompts. You have access to a bunch of information that we drop every day. So come and pull up on us, learn how to make this artwork. Like I said, it don't matter what age. Even if you're doing homeschool, come and get the study guides, come and sign up for the courses. You'll be able to tap in with us, but we want to help teach you step by step how to make the art. All right. Yeah, so there's y'all, some of y'all homegirls right there. Representative Jasmine Crockett, she did a little disposition on Mr. Wexner, on Leslie Wexner. So yeah, we'll be talking about all of this coming up in the next shows. All right, Third Eye Thursdays. All right, Third Eye Thursdays. I'll see you tomorrow or later today on Third Eye
Imaginarium.
Yeah, let's go.
Blueprints in a planetarium. Imaginarium. Blueprints in the planetarium.
To this day. To this day.
Imaginarium. Blueprints in the planetarium. Founders get found in the atrium. We carry them. Builders build brick by brick on the manor to spin. Best nation, imagination. Stamp the atlas in. Kill lights up. Code hum like a seraphim. From prompting the prophet, watch the marriage win. We craft the myth, then market it, establish it. Imaginarium where raw thought turns atom in. School, chalk dust flow over marble ink. Gilded mindsmith, so sesh with a carbon nib. Gods of intelligence, gears turning the loft amid. Fantasy copies, factory floors with the stars lit. Jenner, spark ether, map to parliament. Operator, rule signal audit all the arguments. Destroyer, cut the clutter, know the counterfeit. Every bar's a spec sheet, every rhyme's a document. 5 pillar stand, comics, tones, games, toys, animation. We mold the cannon, full time, whole constellation. Founders in the foundry with Kalu's dedication. We press the crescent metal, KTL authentication. Red banner in the rafters, discipline over trend. We turn a theory to a product, then a tribe to a brand. From borough blocks, the black box, labs we ascend. Imaginarium, the place builders built to the end. Imaginarium. Blueprints in the planetarium.
Get in there. We have a free tier. We have a paid tier. Tap in with us in the upside down world. And yeah, escape through your imaginarium. Let your mind take you to where it is that you need to go. Okay? Best nation is your imagination. The best nation is your imagination. If you want to go ahead and get yourself signed up to Kling, which is that's the machine that I'm using to make these quote unquote videos and whatnot, use my referral code. You see the referral code right there, 7BX. Take a screenshot, use the referral code when you sign up to Kling, and you'll get they'll take care of you. They're gonna give you some extra credits and whatnot. You know what I mean? They give you a little bit of extra credit. Tell them Schoolie Red sent you. You know what I'm talking about? Tell them Schoolie Red sent you. Get your extra credits. You dig? But yeah, man, Imaginarium classes are on Friday. I want to see y'all in the building. If you ever wanted to use your imagination to take you out of your 9 to 5, if you ever wanted to use your imagination to help you make some type of income, if you ever wanted to use your imagination to pay the bills, if you ever wanted to use your imagination to bring some things to life that you may have been sitting on, some ideas that you've been entertaining, some ideas that you wrote down, yeah, tap in with your peoples. We got you. Imaginarium, blueprint for the planetarium. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude our broadcast for tonight. I want to say thank you, everybody, for your time. I see you on Third Eye Thursdays, God willingly, inshallah. Shout out to everybody that is observing what it is that they observing, whatever that may be. Salute to you and yours. V-Cell CMOS in the building. All right, let's go with the V-Cell family. Make sure y'all get y'all CMOS.
V-Cell in my cup, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Flow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. V-Cell in my cup, I'm feeling right. Sip to the sunrise, dance to the night. From the ocean's kiss to your city lights. 21 flavors, pure health in every bite. Drip so clean, we're custom made. From reef to street, we elevate. Gold green gel, set the record straight. Nature in a bottle, that's a better way. Charge me up, no caffeine crash. Clean energy, steady splash. From skin to gut, yeah, we live from within. Oneness on 10, let the rhythm begin. Pour it up, pour it up. Feel the wave, body thanking me. Every save, ocean wisdom in this glass. V-Cell magic, CMOS. V-Cell in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. Island breeze in the city maze. We're mineral rich in 1,000 ways. Immunity high like the summer rays. Hydrate the hustle, fuel your days. Berry, mango, ginger, lime. Pick your flow, your flavor, your time. Beauty and balance we redefine. Every little sip, align your shine. Pour it up, feel the way, body thanking me. Every sip, ocean wisdom in this glass. V-Cell magic, CMOS. V-Cell in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. From the coral choir to the heartbeat drum. Roots run deep where the wild tides hum. Real ones know where the glow comes from. V-Cell in the mix now, watch us.
Diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up at dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets nipped out, acting gay up in Cisco.